This is Samurai Jack, a show about a wandering samurai who's trying to get back to his time to save the world from the evil Aku.
Beyond your reach!
It's one of the best shows to come from Cartoon Network. It pushed the limits of animation and storytelling and refused to be held back by people's idea of what animation should be. But of all of these episodes, which one is the perfect Samurai Jack episode? Which one is able to encapsulate exactly what the show is about? Well, that's not an easy answer. Since Samurai Jack has been around for so long, fans have chosen their favorite episodes, tons of websites have made ranked episode lists, and Samurai Jack even came back for a final season, adding more episodes into the mix. But I've watched so many episodes of Samurai Jack for this video, and I think I finally found the one. But before we get to that, we need to figure out what exactly makes a great Samurai Jack episode. While we know that Samurai Jack is known for its great animation, like in the episode Jack vs. the Ninja, animation isn't the only deciding factor in what makes a great episode. The best episode, or the perfect episode of Samurai Jack, will include elements of Jack's life as a Ronin, showing the situations and scenarios that he gets himself into being a wandering samurai. It would also include elements of his quest to get back to the past and defeat Aku. And lastly, the perfect episode of Samurai Jack will also include an important element to Jack's character, his selflessness. There are so many episodes where Jack has been mere inches away from getting home, but he's stopped. And he's not stopped by some opposing force. He's stopped by himself, whether it is to save someone or just to do the right thing. Now, there are many episodes that do these three things. Some episodes do one or two of them really well, like the episode The Princess and the Bounty Hunters, which focuses on bounty hunters that are after Jack's head after his bounty has gone up, and barely features Jack at all, but it does a really good job of showing the crazy scenarios that Jack gets into as a wandering samurai. Or the episode Jack and the Traveling Creatures, which focuses on Jack getting to a time portal that will take him back to his time. And Jack spends most of the episode traveling to get to this time portal, and when he finally arrives to it, he faces off against the portal guardian, who defeats him, preventing him from using the portal to get back to his time. Now, this episode is really great at focusing on Jack's mission, but the episode that contains the three aspects and portrays them the best to make the perfect Samurai Jack episode would be Jack and the Three Blind Archers. Whoa, I see you're still watching. If you like what you see, go ahead and click subscribe. You're already this deep in the video. If you've seen this episode, you probably knew this episode was gonna be my choice. But let me tell you why. Jack and the Three Blind Archers contains the three aspects that I mentioned before. Jack, on his travels as a wandering samurai, listens to the story of a Viking chief who's recounting how his army got defeated while trying to capture the tower that contains a magical well. Jack, intrigued by the story, sets off to find the well, as it could be a way for him to get home. But after learning that the well twists the wish of the person, Jack destroys the well so it can't hurt an innocent person again. This episode checks all the boxes of a great episode, but there are a lot of episodes that do this as well. What makes this episode better is how it manages to achieve the three parts of a perfect Samurai Jack episode. So let's rewind a bit. Stop. Not play. The episode opens with the robotic army of the Viking chief getting destroyed by the archers. Then we see this is actually a story and that Jack is in the tavern listening to this. Not only is this a cool way to introduce Jack into the episode, it also does two things. It sets up Jack's unimaginable mission for the episode to defeat the three blind archers, and it gives us more insight into his character, because after hearing the story about how a whole army was defeated, instead of trying to rally an opposing force to fight the archers, Jack is determined to go it alone, showing how urgent it is for him to get home. And all of this is encapsulated perfectly in Jack's first lines of the episode.
Excuse me, is this place you speak of real?
Of course! As a matter of fact, we're passing it now!
Thank you.
Wait! I beg you, reconsider. There are only 3 archers, yet they decimated my whole army. You are just one man. Do the math. Why attempt it?
That well could get me home.
There are other ways to get home.
Not for me.
Now when Jack finally reaches the tower, we see what he's up against. 3 archers that can 360 no-scope him from anywhere within their range. Honestly, it's looking rough for Jack. He's barely keeping up with the archers, and they can hone in on him in any second he makes a sound. Then Jack goes off to meditate and comes back with an idea of how to beat the archers. Here, Jack does my favorite thing that I like to see him do. He starts showing off how skilled he is and his prowess as a martial arts fighter. This is something that Jack does many times throughout the series, whether it's jumping good, quelling his anger, or adopting the art of the ninja. Jack shows us that he can take things to the next level. And when he does take things to the next level, we gain a little more insight into who he is as a character. Here, against the archers, when he blindfolds himself, it shows how determined he is to complete his mission. While other people would have found a different way to fight and defeat the archers, Jack decides to meet them on their level to defeat them, because he's not going to let this chance to get home pass him by. And actually, Jack's perseverance works. He succeeds in defeating the archers, which coincidentally releases them from the spell that was holding them hostage. And then Jack finds out that the well is cursed, and using it will grant the user a tainted version of their wish. But what does this mean for Jack? Up until this point in the episode, we've seen Jack fight 3 overpowered archers and risk his life so that he can get home. He's shown nothing but determination and perseverance against all odds. But after discovering the truth of the well, we see a range of emotions in Jack's face: contemplation, frustration, and anger, because his way back home has just been snatched away. This gives us another great character moment, which is actually the 4th and the last secret element that makes a perfect Samurai Jack episode. Those moments where we get a deeper look into Jack's character elevates an episode so much. Because in an episodic show with a stoic character like Jack, we kind of know who he is already and how he will act throughout each episode, usually. But the moment where we get a peek behind Jack's stoic mask makes us appreciate and connect with him and his character so much more. So when Jack destroys the well, we have a deeper understanding and more sympathy for him, because we know what it means for him to not be able to get back to his time. And that's why Jack and the 3 Blind Archers is the perfect Samurai Jack episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love Samurai Jack so much as a kid, so it was awesome to do a video for this show. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you think this is the perfect Samurai Jack episode, or maybe you found an episode that you think does a better job of encapsulating the overall essence of Samurai Jack. If you haven't seen my last video on the psychology of Double D, go ahead and check it out, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!